Hello, little snoogums. I'm back. Yeah, second video. Right after. How good is that? Right after, I hope. Because I just edited the first one. I didn't upload it yet. But I'm already making this one, so I have to like kind of keep that ball rolling. You know what I mean? Anyways, I am here to be the righteous judge whether people are the a-hole or not. So let's just get into it because I found some juicy ones, I think. Marty doesn't have an intro. First one. This story has been concluded, so we can read the whole thing. Isn't that just wonderful? Yeah. Am I the a-hole for making my husband's groomswoman wear a wig or be disinvited from our wedding? First impression, I would say you seem like the a-hole, but maybe there's like, I'm gonna assume that there's more context. Trigger warnings, accusations of infidelity, mental health issues, stalking, harassment, and mention of miscarriages. Sorry, very bad timing to mispronounce. My boyfriend, now fiance, asked me to marry him 2 months ago. To give a little background, I met him at a farmer's market when I was 18 and he was 26. 26. Listen, as a 26-year-old, 18-year-olds are children. If I look at myself at 18 now, I'm like, oh, that is a child. And also, like, my youngest brother is 22 now, and in my head, he is already a child, let alone an 18-year-old. So that is, like, if it's a bit later in life, if you were already, like, in your 20s, like, experiencing stuff.
You always say I want to experience things, but I don't think you actually want to experience things because you would experience it if you wanted to experience things. I don't know what you're talking about.
I think it was different, but 18 and 26 is a little, like... I'm gonna save that for later. We are now 24 female and 32 male. That is already, like, more normal, but... okay, rough start, whatever. We've been together for a little bit over 5 years and I'm very happy with him. That's good. Now, to the story. My fiance's friend Brittany... Brittany? Why did I say it like that? I'm gonna keep saying it like that. My fiance's friend Brittany...
mango chutney.
has been friends with him since they were in elementary school. Throughout our early dating days, I expressed I was not a fan of this woman. There are many reasons as to why, such as us not having common interests and absolutely polar opposite moral codes. But the main one was her interest in embarrassing me and my fiance, possibly because she likes him. Ooh, yoinkies. Oh, I hate that. When we first started going on dates, she had shown up and tried to invite herself to the date because she had told their mutual friend group chat where he was taking me. That's weird. That's really weird. She then decided that she would go to the same restaurant and try to make a scene about him cheating on her and that she was heartbroken. What? Brittany, you are a loco. It escalated very quickly and ended up with me asking the manager to get her trespassed as she was delusional and I, nor my date, did not want her around. This sort of situation happened 3 more times, even going as far as showing up to his grandparents' house to stop me from meeting his family. What? That is crazy. That is so weird. Like, what is he doing in this? Like, is he saying anything? I think this woman needs some clear boundaries because what the hell? At that point, I made it clear to him that if anything like that were to happen again, I'd be out of there, which he completely understood and agreed with me wholeheartedly. He convinced his friend group to go low communication about Brittany with him because she was acting weird around him and they all understood and disagreed with her actions. They had extremely low contact after that point and I learned years later that she had gotten major therapy, even checked herself into a mental hospital and went on medication to stop these absolutely unhinged personality traits. I think it's really good that he broke off contact with her and also gave this heads up to like the friend group and I'm glad that they also agreed. It would be weird if they didn't because this is just absolutely insane behavior. But good that she got therapy and medication can also be good sometimes. I don't know for what, but anyway, let's move on. Around 4 years later, they reconnected through a mutual friend's birthday party we were all at, and she genuinely seemed like she had changed personality-wise from the person I had met 5-ish years ago. We still didn't agree on most things, but she apologized for the way she had acted previously and owned up to all the BS she tried to pull with him. So I just kept my guard up, but I encouraged my fiance to make friends with her again. I'm not friends with her, but I am friendly towards her. I think that is actually a very mature way of handling. He might even say you're very mature for your age. Sorry, that's not funny. Sorry. Skipping to now, I have been planning this wedding basically since I was born. Over-exaggerating, but it has been in my thoughts since I was a young child. The wedding will not happen for another 2 years. The theme is supposed to be similar to D&D style fantasy, a Renaissance wedding with blue, orange, and red as the basic color scheme. That is so cool. I really love that. That is super cute. Also, like, a little bit different, you know? That sounds stupid. It's like different because I like... Damn it! Okay, no, I love that. I think that is really cool. I would love to do that. but with black and red. Maybe. We'll see. Maybe my family won't come. No, I'm joking. They'll be there. Anyway, okay, not important. Marty, this is not about you. Oh my god. Most of the wedding would be held outside at a local state park, but part of it will be held inside. Specifically, the cake and food would be cut and served inside, as well as some of the guest photos. This is the important part. I have a personal friend, Brie, 28 female, who does professional pictures at Renaissance festivals across the US. Her job is to drive around the country to Ren fairs and take pictures of certain venues. It is a very cool job and I love seeing the pictures. However, she does editing for some of these venues with a green screen to make it look more aesthetic, or to totally change the scenery behind the people in the photo. For example, she showed me mock-ups for me in the past, showing silly people in costumes being chased by goblins, trolls, dragons breathing fire behind a party of knights, and even a garden of lights with fairies flying around it, etc. It's silly stuff and it is for people to have fun with. My idea was to incorporate this into the wedding. I think that is super fun. Like, how fun is it to have like a picture of you fighting a dragon from a wedding? Come on, that's great. Especially if you're into like all that fantasy stuff. It's like that is wonderful. This sounds so fun. I want to come to your wedding. I want to be there. I'll dress up as a knight. The guests would choose whatever background they'd like from a catalog that my friend and I put together, and Brie or her teammate would take pictures of them throughout the day. These pictures would be uploaded electronically and then be edited by her after the wedding. I could use the pictures for postcards and scrapbooking. It's my hobby. You sound adorable. The people who wanted to take part in this activity would have to check a box on the save the date form I sent out. My assumption is that most guests would be doing this, as most of the people that will be invited are extremely rambunctious and love activities involving being silly. That sounds like such a fun wedding. I'm having a major FOMO. I do want to make it clear this would not be the only pictures taken at the wedding. There would still be normal pictures being taken of the wedding itself, as well as photos that will likely be framed and used as decorations that would have no green screen of my husband and I and the wedding party. Okay, and also if you didn't want that, your decision, who cares? A few days after he had proposed, my fiance asked me if I'd feel comfortable with him inviting Brittany to the wedding as a groomswoman. That's kind of weird. No, like, I mean, if they just kind of made up again to like have her in the part. Okay, just clocking it. Honestly, I was fine with it until the topic of her hair came up. In the year or so that he had reconnected, she had cut and dyed her hair lime green with a cool undertone and highlights. I honestly really like it and it suits her facial structure extremely well. However, I was worried about the green screen and her hair, so I invited her to my friend's home a while later so we could see if the green screen would blend with her hair. Unfortunately, it did. In the pictures, you could see a major glitch with every background we tried because of her hair. Yeah, that happens. I asked my friend if there was a way to edit around it, and she said there was, but it would be an extra amount of money because it would be way more time to go through and possibly edit multiple photos of her with groups of people and herself so the pictures wouldn't glitch. I'm very against this as our budget has to be semi-perfect. We are accounting for accidents and issues, but not extra money to my friend's business because of one woman's choice of dye blending very well with the green screen. That is fair, you shouldn't have to pay extra for that. While I do love her hair, I asked her if she'd wear a wig to the wedding so she could still be included in the green screen pictures, even offered to get it professionally done, and I'd pay for that. This is when she became very angry with me. To sum up what she had said, her being asked to wear a wig was basically me saying I wanted to cover herself. That her hair was an expression of herself and that she loved it. I told her that I loved it as well, but in order for her to be included, she would need to wear a wig, as the green hair cannot just be covered up via a hat or headwear. She had been saying that I just don't want to include her in the wedding. See, I think that is a bit of an overreaction, because the thing is, like, you can also just say it's like you don't have to wear a wig, but then you just can't be in the green screen pictures because that would just look really stupid. Yeah, it's either you wear a wig in the pictures or put something on just for the pictures maybe, but like, yeah, either wear a wig in the pictures or don't be in the pictures. You know, that's fine. I feel like that's fair. As a compromise against the wig, I proposed that she gets more pictures of her having fun at the wedding itself instead of the green screen. She didn't like this idea because she claims it isn't fair. All the other guests get to be put in fun pictures and she's the only one not allowed. Though I sort of agree with her, it isn't to the fault of my own. So I offered that she paid for the extra editing cost it would be to take and edit more of her pictures. Also fair. Like, I feel like you're giving her options, like either you wear a wig, you are not in the green screen pictures, or you pay for the editing. Like, you cannot be complaining as like, no, but I want to be in the fun pictures, and just expecting her to like pay extra money because you don't want to, like, I don't know, just do anything to kind of like help out and make the situation easier. Like, this is not what you want to be stressing about, like, with your wedding. Also, I'm sorry, I have such oily skin. I'm just like reflecting. Anyway, at first she was fine with the idea until I mentioned that the extra editing would cost around $100 just for a singular picture to be taken and edited by my friend, and the final price depending on how many photos she ended up in on the green screen. Then she declined the offer and tried to throw it in my face that Bree's prices were outrageous. I disagreed with her sentiment about the prices, and I haven't spoken to her since then. See, I think you have given her a lot of options. Because you can't help the fact that her hair is the same color as a green screen, okay? That is just not your problem. And I feel like you're giving her all these options, which you didn't even have to do to begin with. You could have just have her come to the wedding and be like, hey, by the way, your hair is the same color as a green screen. And I feel like it's really nice you invited her over to your friend's place to test if that would indeed be a problem, and then you give her all these options. If she's upset about all of the options, you tried. Like, this is not your responsibility, and I think it's really sweet that you're going out of your way to try to like fix this. As for pictures, she's being very annoying. Throughout this whole ordeal, my fiance has been on my side, but he has been upset over her possibly not being there. While he does agree with me about not wanting to pay more just for her, as well as she's being over dramatic, he has sympathy for her being the only person being left out of this choice activity. While I also have sympathy, I just don't see an alternative here. We can't use a blue screen over a green screen because the colors of the wedding are blue, red, and orange, and I don't wish to pay for a new screen for my friend's business just because of one person. And the alternatives I have come up with, she has shut down. Yeah, I agree. So my final decision was to ask him to disinvite her from the wedding to not create further drama. If she does not want to wear a wig, the only thing I can think about with this whole story is like, have you worn wigs?
No, I do not.
Will you wear wigs? But I love that video. Anyway, whatever. Serious. Murmuring. After long talks between us, he agreed with me and sent her a message that she would be disinvited entirely and would be welcome to celebrate with us after our honeymoon had ended. They met up soon afterwards and she stayed firm on the matter despite her crying and still refusing to do anything to correct her hair. She still believes that me asking her to do this is because of some power imbalance, that I just want to bully her, which I don't think I'm doing. She has over a year to think it over. I think this is ridiculous. I do think it's a little intense, like completely disinvite her, because like I understand that it's giving drama and it's giving stress and stuff, but you can just be like, hey, you have to choose. Either you change your hair or you cannot be in the green screen pictures. I think disinviting her is like quite an intense thing to do. I do think it's really cool that your fiance really has your back like that, but I don't know if I would have handled it that way, but maybe I also just would have shaved her bald in her sleep, solved the problem myself. I'm joking, obviously, don't do that. I can tell the situation bothers him though, and I've addressed it a few times. All of the times I have, he says it's for the best, and as she would ruin the photo she was in with the green screen and could cost us to delete hundreds of pictures purely based on our actions. Also true. I agree, but it still bothers me that I'm doing something wrong. Especially since after this incident, her mom and dad have reached out to me to scold me for abusing my power against their daughter on one of the biggest parties she's ever been invited to. Even my friends are split on the issue, all of them having sympathy for her, but some of them say I'm an a-hole because I won't just let her come to the wedding and have someone block her from taking any pictures with the green screens. Like, what, are you gonna hire security so she doesn't get into the pictures? That's also crazy, come on. Doesn't make you an a-hole. You don't want to worry about this. This is your wedding. You can decide whatever you want to do within reason. And just to make sure the record is straight, I'm not trying to force her to change her hair in any way. I do not want her to dye differently, nor would I expect her to. I purely just want a non-green wig to be put on her head for the wedding, then she can remove it afterwards. I would normally say that she could remove it after this green screen portion, but I'm still working out if I'm just going to let it stay up for the entire day of the wedding, or if I'm going to hold other activities for everyone and have Brie close the photo stuff down. Again, wedding isn't for another 2 years, so I'm able to think it over for at least a year. Yeah, the thing is also, I think, of course you want to leave it up, because at some points after the people had like a couple of drinks, like the pictures are gonna get more fun. So it's like nice to still have that option and not just like at the beginning of the night when everyone might still be like a little uncomfortable or whatever. So I would also say like, leave it up for sure. I do not think you're the a-hole. I think it's a bit intense to like not invite her at all. I think that is definitely like quite a big choice to make. But in the end, I feel like you have come with a lot of like ideas of like how to fix it. And she is just being very intensely like, no, expecting you to fix it and for her to still be okay to be there. but also not like thinking along with you or like, oh, maybe this could be good or maybe we could do this. So I feel like she's not being very helpful. And in that regard, I think she is being an a-hole, because I understand that you just like want to have your own hair at a wedding, but then you should just be like, okay, I want to wear my own hair. I'm sorry. I will not take like green screen pictures. It's fine. She's just not thinking along with you to like help you out or try to make it easier. She's just being difficult. And that is very annoying. So I'm sorry, because now it makes you look like an a-hole because she does not want to like help out. TLDR, I do not know what that means. My husband's groomswoman won't wear a wig to my wedding due to her believing it is a sense of her pride. While I do like her hair, she could potentially ruin pictures of a green screen photo op activity I will be having at my wedding, costing us more than $1,000 for pictures I cannot use, and even more money if I get her photoshopped or out or blended in with the background. All those alternatives given to her have been denied. This has caused my husband to give her an ultimatum where he outlines that she will be uninvited if she does not agree to the terms within a year. Am I the a-hole for this? No. Yeah, I don't think you're the a-hole. I will add some context to that, as I thought I made it clear, but apparently not. The activity with the green screen is open to be used by everyone that signed up for it, mostly so I can get an accurate number of people that will have multiple pictures taken of them. I would encourage them to do it in groups, so if one person's hair is making a glitch and you have multiple people in a picture, it turns into more than just $100 venture. It turns into thousands of dollars that I simply do not have. Bree told me that the total price could potentially quadruple. I'm willing to pay because it would take hours to Photoshop every single picture Brittany is in. Guests are welcome to the green screen too. That's why uninviting her was on the plate, because if she doesn't want to be left out of a portion of the wedding, then how else would I get her to not take pictures with people with the green screen? Yeah, I feel like she could potentially like get into pictures anyway, and then your pictures are just ruined, and that would be weird. I didn't mention this because I was already typing a lot and forgot to add, but she has more appointments booked to get her hair touched up with more green coloring in the next 2 years because of the fading that the color like that does. I only recently found out this information from my fiance before we decided to tell her about the issue. If her hair isn't green for whatever reason in a year, or she changes her mind about not minding that she isn't allowed to be in the green screen pictures, I'm sure something could work out differently and that wouldn't affect much at all. Yeah, I feel like if she decides that she doesn't want to have green hair anymore, then the problem is solved, you know? But you don't know, like in a year a lot can happen. I change my hair a lot. Having the same hair color for a year, absolutely unimaginable for me. The easiest solution would be for her just to not be in those photos, right? This is correct, and I agree with you. The issue is that I'm being made into the bad guy because she doesn't want to be left out one of the 4 big activities I have for the wedding. I didn't include all the other stuff because I wasn't trying to pile on about how badly she's taking this, as the post is already very long, but she's yelled at me, cried, called my fiance 33 times while he was at work, and more. All because I can't fix that she physically cannot be in green screen pictures without ruining them, because I do not want to afford major increase on my spending. I think this is very stupid. Oh my god, I'm a little bit over this because I just think it's super stupid drama anyway. Okay, this is getting juicy. I just read like one sentence. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm back in. Update 1, 6 days later. I honestly didn't think I'd post an update at all this year because I mostly got the confirmation I needed to know that I was mostly correct in my assumption that she'd cause more drama at the wedding than necessary, and that I'd be correct in that I would be okay to disinvite her. I was trying to be detailed in that post, but in this one, I'm going to be a little less detailed. Thank you. Basically, 3 days ago, I was sent my post on Messenger from Brittany. Brittany. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Sorry, very annoying. She is a notorious Reddit lurker, apparently, and saw it a few hours after it was posted. Ooh, yoinkies. It didn't even have to get multiple upvotes because she reads the ones available on the recent category. Ooh. I told her I posted because I had a lot of inner conflict towards my involvement with my fiance, choosing to disinvite her if she can't just make some form of sacrifice to not be in the green screen / wear a wig if she can be included. She got extremely mad at me, called me names, threatened that I'd be sued for defamation, etc. What? This honestly just made me realize how little she actually changed. Of course, I showed my fiance. He was appalled by her actions. He said he was going to block her and did so that day. And so did I. That is actually a very good solution. Blocked and delete. Yesterday, I woke up to 43 missed calls from a number I did not recognize that ended up to be her, and a dozen voicemails claiming that I was stealing my fiance away from her again, and that I had purposefully targeted her for wanting to be included with everyone else and so on. I do not know how she got my number, but I obviously blocked it. After that, I reported her to the police on a non-emergency line because I didn't know if I would be needing to fear for my safety. Maybe. I'm really glad I did this. After my fiance had left for work, she showed up to our home and knocked on the door. I cracked a window near the door and asked what she wanted. She said whilst crying that I needed to let her in the house because it was her right to be with my fiance, not me. She started kicking at the door and I told her to knock it off. This way, knock on the door, knock it off. Whatever, that is actually not funny. Marty, you are not funny. Immediately, I just started dialing the non-emergency police number for my nearest precinct because I already knew what was happening in that moment. And I was supposed to be clocking in for work on my computer at that moment. I texted my boss and she excused my absence for the day as well. As I was doing this, I kept repeating, "Go away, I called the police and I do not want you here, you are trespassing." She was saying all kinds of things I don't wish to repeat here, but the lesser of the things she was saying involves calling me a white racist pig. She is mixed race, so am I. Okay. Saying she was 8 months pregnant with my fiance's baby. There's quite literally zero proof of this, including no baby bump despite being a fairly thin woman. Screaming that she would take me to hell, trying to break my metal outside door, but instead hurting herself instead. And so on. Basically, she had a full-on meltdown. The police came, saw... This got really juicy, okay? In the beginning, I was like, oh my god, what are we even talking about? And now I'm like, this is what we're talking about, okay? Basically, she had a full-on meltdown. The police came, saw that she was trying to break my door down, and immediately put her in cuffs and set her down. She was claiming this was her house and that she'd lived there for 10 years and that I had broken in and locked her out. What? Like, they can't just fact-check that? Girl, are you okay? Of course, because of her psychotic appearance, I was questioned and once given the real story, as well as being able to provide proof that I was the owner of the home. She was taken to the police station. As far as I'm aware, she was booked for the night and was let go today. I did agree to a temporary no contact order, and my fiance and I are going to proceed with a permanent one. Wow, that escalated very, very quickly. Her parents called after they heard that she was put in a holding cell and apologized profusely. As they should. Like, they called you and berated you, and now they see that you were not wrong. Apparently, Brittany had lied to them about the extent of her actions and downplayed a lot of it. Did I? On the exterior, she seemed fine and well-rounded, but mentally she had snapped again from not taking her meds for a year. She never told her parents, she just acted normal until one of her triggers came back. My fiance. No, he didn't do anything wrong. She just had a major trigger when it came to him because of a deeply obsessive personality disorder. I wasn't trying to air her dirty laundry about her medical history in the last post, but she was diagnosed with BPD and a large handful of disorders caused by trauma she had endured in her childhood from her great-grandfather. She's an unhealthy person, and I regret even allowing her to have the notion that we had forgiven her for her past. Reading this, I actually, getting this context, I actually think that you were being so mature and so nice by, wanting to let her come to the wedding and, thinking with her and stuff like that. Because honestly, with this, I would have already been like, okay, there's this woman that is completely obsessed with my fiance. Maybe she should not be at our wedding. Might have saved you a lot of drama, but who am I? No, it's good to be forgiving. I want to see the best in people, of course. That's a beautiful quality. And at least before the wedding, it worked out. Well, not for her, but for you, you know. I'm pretty shaken from this ordeal, and I can't believe that this was all because of a goddamn green screen and some pictures that were supposed to just be treated as silly holiday cards for the foreseeable future. This is making me rethink the idea altogether, to be completely honest. Maybe I'll just rent an adult bouncy house because that seems more fun and green screen professional photography. No, please, go with your idea. I think your idea is so fun, and it's such a nice keepsake for the people that were there. Poor thing. Commenter said, my god, I would love to be as calm and collected as you. Teach me your ways. In all seriousness though, I hope you're okay. Don't let her get to you. Do your wedding the way that you want. Wishing you all the very best. And Oops said, I was not calm and collected. I was crying and feeling very scared. The only reason I was able to make rational decisions is because I had mentally and physically prepared myself for another incident like this happening, because I was a victim of a during a break-in at my mom's house when I was 14, and it made me terrified of not knowing what to do if an incident like this ever occurred again. Oh, poor thing. I was acting on instinct. Therapy and an incredible woman's defense coach got me to this point. I also live in Texas, so castle doctrine was on my side. Do not know what that is, but Oh, you poor thing. I think you handled the whole situation very well. Final update, because I still occasionally get messages asking if the wedding ever happened and what it ended up happening with Brittany. Can't stop saying it like that. My last update was posted back in November of 2024, so it's been about a year and a half now. Honestly, I didn't think I'd ever update again, ×2, because after the police involvement and restraining order, I mostly just wanted to move on with my life and stop thinking about the situation entirely, understandably. But a lot has changed since then, and I was listening to a YouTuber read a story and it reminded me to check in with his account. It was not me. Obviously, it just started. This isn't even uploaded yet. Whatever. I mean, now that you're watching it, but as I'm saying this. First off, I'm married. Congratulations. Just not in the way we originally planned. Interesting. After everything that happened with Brittany, the giant Renaissance/D&D wedding slowly stopped feeling exciting and started feeling exhausting. Oh no. Oh, that sounds so fun though. I'm so sorry that you were made to feel that way. Even though my dad had a giant wedding like that, I started really evaluating if he wanted me to actually get married like him or if he just wanted me to have a wonderful wedding and a honeymoon. Other things have now happened with my family and I'm just over them as well. Oh, I'm so sorry. I hope your husband has been your rock in this at least. Between the police involvements last year, changing routines and restraining order process, and honestly just being stressed constantly for months afterwards, planning this huge, elaborate fantasy wedding stopped being fun. I am so sorry that you were made to feel that way. Like, oh, genuinely, I keep saying it, but I'm so sorry. Life sort of smacked us in the face in the best possible way, and it made it all worth it anyways. After a long line of pregnancy issues and basically accepting that I might never get pregnant or at least bring a baby to term, I found out I was pregnant. The second I saw the positive test in my brain shifted from I want the biggest, coolest, fancy wedding imaginable to I literally just want peace and happiness before the baby gets here. Oh my god. Congratulations, I'm gonna cry. Instead, we ended up doing a much smaller shotgun winter wedding this past December with around 30 guests total and about 60 people invited to the reception afterwards. My husband's family is massive, so that was genuinely about as much as we could shorten it without causing a civil war. The entire aesthetic changed too. Instead of the giant, colorful Renaissance/D&D wedding, I ended up with a secondary option that I had played with when I was originally planning the idea of a similar wedding to my dad's. It was the idea of a snowy white wedding aesthetic from the ending of Nanny McPhee, specifically the winter wedding at the very end of the movie. I have loved that scene since I was little, and something about it always felt so magical and soft and romantic to me. My grandma also loves that movie. Every time we would watch it, she would cry, and then I would cry. She would point to the screen and say, "Look how beautiful she is," with tears in her eyes. So that became the new inspiration. I genuinely have goosebumps. I don't know if you could. No, okay, you can't see. I'm a little emotional today. Okay, well, that's fine. Anyway, get it together. I decided to change it due to the different size. I felt like going all out with the bright colors was amazing, but we could just invite family to a Renaissance festival and we could all have fun there drinking themselves silly instead. Super fair, that's true. Everyone wore white, silver, soft blues, etc. My dress had embroidered snowflakes all over it with tiny pearl details that made it look frosted over. It honestly looked like it had snow settled into the fabric. It reminded me so much of Evangeline's dress from the movie. I was obsessed with it. Still am. I'm even planning to get a new piece put into my wedding band. I love that wedding just as much as I loved the original fantasy one I had planned in my head for years. It felt calmer, more intimate, less of a giant party, more of a loving environment. And to anyone wondering, we did the green screen photo op. Yay! My friend Bree thought it would be hilarious after everything that happened, so instead of the DMD backgrounds, she made a bunch of winter and Christmas themed backgrounds instead. It helped, of course. Snowy castles, Christmas villages, giant decoration trees, cheesy Hallmark style edits, ice caves, etc. People absolutely loved it, and I loved the Christmas cards I got from it. That's so cute. My uncle had himself into shielding himself from an army of snowmen with cannons, and one of my cousins made herself look like she was flying through a blizzard on a reindeer. I was genuinely one of the funniest part of the receptions. So yes, after all of this insanity, the green screen survived. I am so happy to hear that, because it would be such a whole thing that like the whole drama started because of that and then you end up not doing it. My god. As for Brittany, let's get into the juice. Her parents were invited to the reception. I know some people will think that's weird, but despite everything, my husband still cares about them a lot. They apologized to us multiple times after the incident had happened and genuinely seemed devastated by the entire situation. None of this was really their fault. While we were talking during the reception, they ended up telling us more about what happened after my last update. Oh, that's what we like to hear, isn't it? Apparently, after Brittany was placed into... I said it wrong, sorry. After Brittany was placed into a long-term psychiatric treatment following the incident at our house, her parents ended up getting access to her phone because she obviously couldn't keep it while institutionalized, and they were trying to sort out her bills, work issues, etc. Apparently, that's when they discovered she had been stalking my husband for years. Pictures of him leaving work, pictures of him outside of our old house, pictures of him pumping gas, pictures taken from inside her car while following him. Some were years old during the time we had got her out, and some were recent as of December 2025. Some of them had hearts drawn all over them. This cannot be real. Is that real? That is really disturbing. That is so scary. I am so sorry, but also so glad that she's like locked up. You know, like that's not your problem anymore. Holy moly. One of them was photoshopped to make it look like she was naked and laying on top of him while he slept on our porch outside. What the? Apparently, she had entire folders dedicated to him on her phone. It was honestly one of the most disturbing things I've seen in my life. Yeah. It did, of course it is. What the hell? Needless to say, a pretty significant amount of the money that my dad left me for the original wedding ended up going towards buying a new house in a completely different area after all of this came out. After we found out about it, we decided our baby would be safer out of the old house. Yeah, this is like the start of a horror film, honestly. That's really creepy. I also want to give my husband a lot of credit throughout all of this because I genuinely do not think I could have handled this situation as gracefully as he did. This entire ordeal absolutely crushed him emotionally for a while. Despite everything Brittany did, he still cared about her as someone he had known since childhood. And I think realizing that the version of her he thought had gotten better wasn't actually real really messed him up for a long time. At the same time, though, he never once wavered when it came to protecting me, our home, our relationship. The second things crossed the line into harassment and stalking, he completely cut contact, fully cooperated with the restraining order process, helped us move, got a better paying job in our new area, changed routines with me so I'd feel safer, and has honestly been my rock through all of it. As I said he should be. Even now, I think part of him still mourns the loss of someone he thought was one of his oldest friends, but he also understands now that what she felt towards him was never a healthy friendship in the first place, especially after seeing those pictures. Yeah, that will freak me out. That will freak me out big time. That is so weird. So weird. Imagine someone's like your best friend since childhood, and then you find out that this is like how they view you, and they have these pictures of you. Like, that would just shatter my reality. I don't know how I would be in his situation, so respect that. Legally speaking, we were granted a temporary restraining order a few months after my last update that expired in January of last year, and thankfully we have had absolutely zero contact since then. From what our parents have told us, Brittany is still receiving psychiatric treatment and apparently still has not fully accepted reality regarding my husband. She still hasn't come to understand she wasn't dating my husband and that he has never claimed to want to be with her. It's sad. At this point, it doesn't really feel like it's a Reddit post anymore. I mostly just feel like watching somebody completely destroy their own life because they refuse to get help for so long. I don't even know if she even took the medication she was prescribed or if they are just not working. In my non-professional opinion, she seems schizophrenic. I hope she gets genuine help where she is now, but I never want to see her again. On a much happier note, our daughter is due in July. Her name is going to be Caroline Evangeline, and I genuinely cannot wait to meet her. Thanks for reading. Wow. That story was not what I thought it was going to be. Oh my god. I feel like I talked for so long, but I'll find just one more, like maybe a shorter one, just so we have it, you know? Because this was one story. This is a bit heavy to end on, okay? Like, this really took me through all the emotions. Anyway, you're obviously not the a-hole. I think that the whole situation with the hair and the green screen needed to happen in order for you to like find out all of this stuff, and I'm really glad that you found out all of this stuff, also for the safety of your child, that you're moving away, that you're taking the precautions to like make sure that you're all safe, because this is absolutely terrifying, and I'm so sorry you had to go through this. I don't even have more to say about it because it's so disturbing, and I'm gonna powder my face because I am reflecting like crazy. Okay, I'm powdered. I will not blind you with my reflection anymore, sorry. Okay, we're gonna do a little short one because the video is already pretty long. This editing is gonna take me forever, but that's okay. Am I the a-hole for not wanting my female best friend to move out once I get married? Plus update. Love to see it. Okay, let's get into it. This is also concluded, so that's great. Am I the a-hole for not wanting my female best friend to move out once I get married? I know this sounds a little weird, but I'm in such a strange position right now, and I genuinely have no idea what to do. Let me tell you what to do.
One person in this world who can tell you what you are Me, Sue Sylvester.
So me, 32 male, and my best friend Sam, 32 female, have been living together for 5 years now. Originally, it was supposed to be a temporary solution because of some health issues she was having, but we decided that she would move in permanently when we found out her health wasn't going to get better. She's schizophrenic and blind, along with having various other medical issues, so a lot of daily tasks are difficult for her. Our arrangement is I cook, I clean, I drive, and I do other things she struggles with, while she pays for all of her shared living expenses. This honestly has been a dream situation for us. It allows me to do my dream job, for which the pay isn't great, without ever really having to worry about money, while she lives a pretty normal, independent life and gets support for her health issues, plus she never has to do housework. I think that is actually a great deal. Like, you take care of her, and you're kind of her caregiver, and like she pays for yeah, that sounds awesome. Also for her, that must be really nice to have someone like helping her, and also someone that she is friends with, like someone she trusts. That's really nice. I met my girlfriend Emma, 31 female, 3 years ago. Sam and Emma were never super close, but they were always friendly, and Emma was always super understanding of our living situation and never mentioned having a problem with it with me. Recently we started talking about getting married and moving in together. While we were discussing it, I mentioned that I didn't know what would happen to Sam once we got married. Emma got kind of irritated and said Sam would just move out and get her own place finally. I reminded her that it wasn't that simple, but we started fighting and I asked her to change the subject. It came up again and Emma said something about moving into my apartment, and I told her we couldn't because it was Sam's apartment, not mine, and I'd never be able to afford the rent. Edit, Emma has known the whole time about my financial situation and how it works. This is no surprise to her. I guess she didn't know the apartment isn't mine, but we still have the money to get a place and live and support ourselves without Sam. We started fighting again. I said Sam could never live by herself, and I wasn't sure if I could get married if it meant I had to leave her alone. Emma said she needed space to think and drove away. A couple hours later, she texts me and basically says that I can keep having an emotional affair with Sam if I want, but she won't put up with it anymore. She doesn't want to talk to me for a week, and then after that we can talk about if we want to be together. Ooh, okay. Wait, I'll read it a little bit more and then I'll give you my thoughts. I'm seriously so lost and conflicted on what to do. Emma never expressed these opinions before. I completely understand why she's upset, but Sam isn't a regular roommate that can just move out. I want to be with Emma and live with her, but I can't just kick Sam out to the side of the road either. I'd absolutely be willing to leave Sam if she found another arrangement that worked for her, but I might be the a-hole for not being willing to leave Sam without a new caretaker to marry Emma. Okay, sorry. You are not the a-hole for not wanting to just leave her to like figure her stuff out. Of course you've been taking care of her. This is a close friend of yours. Of course you want to make sure that she is taken care of before you move out. I think that is not an a-hole move. I think that is actually a very good, like, that is just, sorry, this is so stupid to me because like obviously you're not the a-hole. Like, you want to make sure that she's taken care of. And I think it is, of course, from Emma's perspective, I understand that she's like, yeah, I don't want to live with another woman, like you taking care of her. But I feel like you should just talk to Sam, like have a conversation with her about it. Like, hey, what are options that you're comfortable with? What could I do to help you? Like, how do you feel about this whole situation? Because, just as well, she might just say like, hey, yeah, no, I fully understand. Like, let's, if you could help me look for a caregiver or like another way to do this. Like, she doesn't sound like a bad person. Like, I feel like you can just talk to her about this, like you don't have to decide all this stuff for her. You don't have to like ruin your relationship for it. I feel like you can just have a reasonable conversation with her. She's not stupid, I think. I don't know her. Edit, you guys are right. It's dumb for me to try to hide this from Sam. She probably would want to know what's going on, and I'm going to tell her later when I pick her up from work. Good. Talk to her. Maybe not in the car, like you can just have like a little sit down, little good moment that you can like fully be there, be present. Also, while my pay isn't great, including my savings and Emma's job too, we could get married and be fine financially without Sam's money. And Emma knew our financial arrangement this whole time. It's no surprise to her. Lastly, I just want to make it clear that while I'm hesitant to leave Sam, it's not because I like the money and the lifestyle she provides. I want to marry Emma. This is 100% about what's best for Sam, but me and Sam will talk about it in a few hours and I'll update then. And he did. I feel like this is just such a non-issue because like realistically, just talk to her. Just have that conversation before you like make everything so complicated in your head. Like, she is a capable adult woman. Like, you can talk to her. Update. Hi guys, thank you so much for all the comments and advice on my last post. I just wanted to update you all on the situation since then. You guys were right that I should have included Sam in the conversation about all of this from the beginning. She was, like me, surprised at Emma's reaction. Me and Sam agreed that open communication between all three of us is the best way to fix this. So we decided not to talk about it until all of us were talking together. I gave Emma the space she asked for a week and then called her and asked if she would be willing to come over so we could have a talk about it. We had a very long, very emotional conversation that night. Emma apologized for blowing up and said that while she has always understood and respected me and Sam's relationships, he hates feeling like she has to share me. She said she wanted to be my first priority, not Sam, and if I couldn't do that, she understood, but she didn't want to be with me anymore. And I think that's also fair because, like, of course, taking care of someone like that it's a very big thing to do, and I do understand that if you're gonna marry somebody, as good as it is what they're doing, like, you do want to feel like you are the priority and you don't want to be second place to this other woman in your marriage, even if it's not like that. But like, I do understand where she's coming from. I think it's good that she's apologizing. I do understand her reaction was a bit intense, but I do also feel like if you've kind of like been accepting of this and haven't communicated about this previously, then all those emotions can just come out. But I think it's good that they're having a talk about it now, that he respected that she asked for space. Like, I think you're actually handling it super well. I don't know. I don't think you need my advice. I'm just saying, like, hey, you're doing great. I told her she had nothing to apologize for and that I was sorry for acting the way that I did, that I loved her more than anything in the world and I was stupid for doing anything to make her feel like that wasn't true. Sam also apologized for crossing boundaries and that if me and Emma wanted to get married, she wouldn't get in the way of that. She said that this past week had made her reconsider a lot of things and that she wanted to be as independent as she could be and that she knew being her caretaker had been hard on me. We did a lot more talking than that, but that was the gist of the conversation. I asked Emma when we were alone if she would take me back. She said she loved me and she was glad for my change of heart, but she still needed space to think about if our relationship was going to work out. Fair enough, that is okay. 2 days ago we went out on our first date since then and she told me she wanted to try again. I asked her to marry me and she said yes. We managed to find a place a short walk from Sam's. We've been helping her look into medical caretakers and housekeepers so she can have some space and independence. It's a huge change for all of us, but Sam will be a part of me and Emma's life. She just won't depend on me anymore. And anyways, I think all of us were ready for a new chapter. Everything has worked out so much better than I could have hoped for. I'm so lucky to have such special people in my life. Thanks again to everyone who helped me with this. I think, yeah. I mean, I don't have a lot to say about this because I think you handled it super well and communication solved anything. You all seem like very level-headed and smart adults. This might not be like a juicy story, but I'm glad you could figure it out the way that you handled it. And I'm glad that Sam's okay. And I'm glad that you talked to Emma. And I feel like you just went about it very maturely and well. And I understand that you were also kind of scared to have this conversation because you don't know where it's going to go. But I'm just glad that it worked out. So... anyway, see you in the next one. Love you. Bye.